revisit some of our strategies. So I'll quickly talk about business service, who we are, some of our strategies that we're going to employ in 2016, what we've done internationally, and then address some of the challenge that we've seen as we've expanded the business internationally over the past 4 or 5 years. So what's our mission? And this is something that we've worked with the brand team this past year to really try and get right. And you're not going to see this as sort of outwardly in our marketing materials, but who are we, right? We manage risk. We help our customers improve their business by using big data and really applying the science that we have behind processing data, understanding the intricacies of the data, building analytics, and delivering results to them to really improve their businesses. So that's really what we're trying to do. By doing that, we want to be a leading provider in the U.S. markets, expand internationally, and financially, we aspire to be $1 billion by 2020. It's just a target. Ideally, we can be bigger, but that's kind of where we're trying to go. To get there, we have to grow our business at 8% per year. We're going to continue to drive long-term growth across the business. And to do that, in the business services, we have a lot of attrition, just sort of the nature of our business. We have to continue to be engaged with our customer, drive value, and keep their engagement, as well as that of our employees. So who do we serve? Banks, corporates, virtually everybody. We got over 20,000 customers. Customers in over 120 countries. Hard to keep track of the total number of countries. In the UK, we have more than 1,000. Recently announced a big opportunity in Brazil that I'll talk about a little later, this partnership to build a credit intelligence management company. And then from our AML solutions, we're big in Latin America, as well as developing a bigger presence in Asia and Europe. So our solutions, just to give this sets up. What is business services? Anti-money laundering solutions, fraud prevention solutions, credit risk, things like RiskView. Identity management, using our IDMS platform, our Veric product, KBA. Business risk, SBFE, along with our business intelligence around business entities and business linkings. And receivables management, so collections type of things. All these require a large central repository information to build solutions from. And they'll tell you why that's important in a minute. So how are we going to win in the markets that we play? We're aggressively going to drive innovation across our high growth segments. Within business services, we have a couple dynamics going on. We have 2/3 of the business growing mid double digits, and we have another third of the business growing low to declining in some respects. So what we're doing is really focusing on driving investments in the area that are growing to outrun some of those declines. So it's AML, business risk, credit risk, and fraud. We're going to continue to look at new emerging markets where we can develop unique solutions to meet those needs. So mobile, communications, digital economy. Right now we're serving those markets with our generic existing solutions. So we're really going to begin honing in and trying tailoring our solutions to better meet those needs. And then on the lower growth segments, we're going to continue to invest there, but at a lower rate, just to sort of stay in the game. Those markets will rebound, and we want to be there when that happens. Internationally, the UK, we bought a number of assets. So the UK, it's all about taking those assets and scaling that business. Roughly $25 million. We want it to be $100 million. We've got a number of big things happening this year. We have the HPCC platform rolling out, which then will really be able to differentiate. To date, it's all been about getting the right infrastructure, getting the right people. Tomorrow will be about building new things.
And I just want to revisit a couple of things that Rick Traynor discussed, right? So the last couple bullets he said were his key takeaways. Does anyone remember? Yeah, so think locally but be globally, right? So be a local company to that region, but still keep that global mindset. The other one was be patient and keep an open mind. So how do we know what being a local company means to Brazil? We know what it might look like here in the US, right? So we have a tool called the Cultural Navigator that can assist all of us in answering that question. For those of you that have not logged in before, you go in through People Hub, which is what I'm about to do now. You click on the Learning Quick link, and right below that, you'll see the Cultural Navigator link. From here, you click this link right here up at the top. It says click to access the Cultural Navigator. So when you first log in, if you've never taken the assessment before, you're going to see a big gray circle in the center. Now, Keisha has been so kind to allow us to demonstrate using her profile. So what you see here is she's gone ahead and taken the assessment. And when I say assessment, I know people get a little twinge, right? Because it's scary sometimes. But if I could call it a quizzy poo, I would. It just doesn't seem very scholarly. But this assessment tells you all about you and your cultural norms. And when I discuss this assessment with some of our senior leaders, and they say to me, well, Alyssa, my team's not global yet, right? And so I would say and challenge them, so you mean to tell me that all of the people on your team are from the exact same place in the world, had the same upbringing, the same parents, the same experiences, and their eyes get wide? Because the answer is no, right? So what this assessment does is it allows us to learn all about our sense of self in the workplace, our interaction style, so how we interact with others, and then our thinking style, how we process information. And so all of these things that this tool measures allows us to get some insight on ourselves, but also how we interact with our teams and the people around us. So Rick's last takeaway, being patient when folks aren't like us, right, and don't think the same way we do, don't process information the same way we do, aren't motivated the same way we are, we can get a little ticked, right? It's frustrating, and that increases tension. So this tool is all about understanding differences, embracing them, because there is not one right or wrong way to score in this assessment. So once you've taken the assessment, you'll see all of these colors with all of your results. At that time, you can go ahead and put some time on my calendar for a debrief session. I am certified to debrief the session. And we can talk about you for 30 minutes, all about you. So the other piece that this has inside, as Rick was talking about going into different global markets, right, entering Brazil. And I would challenge you to even think about your own teams, right? How many of us are on teams where folks aren't from the US or have been born in different places, right? So there are just different nuances that we might not be aware of. So you have the ability to go ahead and plot your results against different country results. Okay? So what I'm going to do is type in, since we're on the topic of Brazil, we'll go ahead and look at the country of Brazil. So every time you walk into this tool, it shows you a map of the location and the region. It calls out the local time and temperature. And in some locations, we'll be moving towards all of them, but there's a scrolling line for local news and events that are happening in real time. Okay? But you can see here, if I were to look at Brazil and work with someone in Brazil, I've got 13 cultural gaps with the Brazilian culture, right? So that's interesting to me. And I would say for Rick, for his business, are the folks that are presenting to Brazil, do those folks have gaps with the folks that they're presenting to? The other piece that you can kind of hone in on as I scroll down here, it says, what are you doing today in Brazil? Are you interacting with someone? Are you meeting with someone? Are you managing someone that's Brazilian? Are you hiring someone?